Hey, Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja. Are you building a house with a crawl space and maybe you're a little concerned about what's going to happen to the crawl space once it's built? So today we're going to talk about crawl spaces with new construction. Stay tuned. Okay, so time and time again, we get calls all the time about, hey, come check out my house. It's less than a year old and I've already got a mold problem. I've already got standing water issues. I've already got all these things happening in my crawl space. Well, keep in mind that a lot of home builders out there are still building crawl spaces to code that was written long, long ago. So the way they've worked it out is that International Residential Building Code has the option either to encapsulate the crawl space or close it up and do all of the dehue control and all that kind of stuff, or they can build it vented and open. Now, those of you out there that are a little bit more educated about the benefits of crawl space encapsulation are like, what? Why are they still building it the old way? Well, the old way is still cheap. It's still to code, and they can always say, okay, well, I've done it this way. This is to code. This is all that needs to be done. But keep in mind that the wood still is not dry. Whenever they bring all of the timber to the job site, it was probably sitting in some warehouse or outside somewhere getting rained on. Then they bring it to the job site, it gets rained on. Then they put it inside the crawl space and it's still wet and nasty. Then they put the Tyvek all around the house and they do all of the things that they do. And depending on how long it takes for them to add the heating and air and the electrical and all that sort of thing, it could be months and months and months before that wood even begins to dry out. Now, if it was built, depending on the time of the year, if it was in the winter, it might be more likely to dry out versus in the summer, but even rain happens in the winter. So you still got wet wood, you still got non-pressure treated lumber in the crawl space that's soaking wet. You just closed it all up except for 6 or 8 vent fans around the perimeter of the crawl space. And now you got a mold problem because you got wet wood. So what I would recommend if you're building a house, whether it's a open crawl space or a closed crawl space, go ahead and block off those vents and put a dehumidifier in there as soon as you get electrical to the area. So that way that dehumidifier can begin that crawl space drying process as well as the drying process in the entire house. Imagine all of that timber, you're throwing drywall over that new timber and running ductwork through there and all that, and you're trapping that moisture between the Tyvek and the drywall. So we want to make sure we give these houses plenty of time to dry out so that we don't create some kind of fungal problem in the future. So my name is Michael Church with Crawl Space Ninja. We hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.